Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is my first lesson I will try to conduct on my own, and by the way, if you didn't watch videos on my channel which I published before, the whole idea is I want to learn topics, I want to learn math, I want to learn coding by teaching these topics to other. This is kind of experiment, this is kind of idea that I'm also invite all of you to join and do the same for yourself. The whole idea is not wait to become professional and teach and allow yourself to teach. Just the idea is just you learn one topic, you get solid enough understanding of that topic, you gather some hands-on experience on that, and immediately after that make a YouTube video, share the knowledge that you gathered with other people, and only after that you go to next topic, and like this in sequence you do your learning process. And here, just for a demo purpose, I will record a video on a simple topic, quadratic equations. So this was an introductory for the video. Let's start the lesson. And first of all, let's define what is quadratic equation. And it is polynomial equation of degree of 2. That means the highest power of the variable is 2 squared. And just some practical appearance of this in real life was appeared here. Basically, let's remind for ourselves what is a linear equation. I think all of you who studied this topic at school knows that there's a graph and just straight line on the graph called linear equation, and it usually in standard form written as a multiplied by x plus b, right, equals to y. And usually, as we know, the a here is a slope. It means the angle, how faster changes y depending on x. This is our slope, this is our a coefficient, and b is the intercept. Intercept means at which point our equation intercepts y. Okay, that was quick introduction, and I think, as you might remember, also the b, if you change b, your graph might start, your equation might start from here, or also from here, or from any other point, depending on your b coefficient. Okay, that was linear equation, and right now we will discuss about quadratic equations. And let's quickly look at the formula, how it looks. And we can see there is one more part of it, of our equation, which holds degree of 2. And here it's written in standard form. As I already said, a and I already said in linear equation b and c are constants, and here we also have a, our third constant. And as it mentioned here, a cannot be 0 if a become 0, so the equation becomes linear, not quadratic. Okay. Okay, we can go further and see one example. And here we can see an example above: a equals 3, b 5, and c minus 2. These are our constants. And we can also use negative constants. And right now we can look at the graph And notice that on the graph comparable to linear equation, which just straight line, our quadratic equation looks like a U-shaped curve, and is in mathematics it's called parabola. And parabola opens upward when a greater than 0 and downward if a is less than 0. Here we can see examples of negative and positive parabola, and also the green one shows how coefficient changes our parabola, and we can see that if we add constant of 2, our y coordinate grows faster, comparable to blue one. Okay, that's it. And first little hands-on experience. It's actually, the answer should not be mentioned here, but okay, it's my first video. Quickly identify a, b, and c from this equation for yourself. And if you are right, you found a equals 2, and the second constant equals -7, and the third constant equals 3. All right, let's continue our lesson, and let's take a look at the first practical method that we will use to solve quadratic equations, and this method called factoring, and it is one of the most efficient methods for solving quadratic equations when the equation can be factored easily. And here we use zero product principle. Basically, what the zero product principle is: if one of these part in the brackets, in the parentheses, is equals to 0, then it means the whole equation equals to 0, and also then x equals p or x equals q. Basically, we are trying to find such an x that this part might be 0, or maybe this part will be 0. So this is the method how we can find access to which will be the right solution for our equation. This is the step-by-step algorithm. First of all, we have to write our equation in standard form: ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. We have to factor the left side into two binomials, like this. And we have to independently solve for each of this part, for this part and for this part, solve a simple equation and check solution. And here we can see a very simple example. Let me show you right here, like this. First of all, we wrote our equation in a standard form: x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. How we got this part? It's actually very easy. There's one simple and handy method how you can find these coefficients to factor these two factors. Actually, you can look at these two coefficients here, and you have to find two numbers which can give you multiplication in like multiplication. In multiplication they will give you 6, and in addition will give you 5. And here we can see 2 multiplied by 3 gives you 6, and 2 plus 3 gives you 5. This is how it works in simple quadratic equations. So here how we got this part. So what we do next? The next we have to just independently solve these parts as simple equations, and we got x plus 2 equals to 0. What we do, we just, we subtract both parts by -2, and we got x equals -2. The same for this factor, x equals to -3. So basically, I didn't mention before, so let me fix myself a bit. If you want to find coefficients to factor properly, first of all we have to find product and the sum of the coefficients here. And as I said in the beginning, that our second term we have to find our solution. If we in our quadratic term we have just coefficient 1, this will be very simple to solve. It means basically that we can find the sum of two numbers to get 5, and the same numbers in multiplication gives us 6, which as we found was 2 and 3. But if our quadratic term has a coefficient that is different from 1, then first of all we have to multiply our first quadratic term to our third free coefficient, and in this case we will get our product. Sorry for my writing. Okay, now how. One second. Yeah, what I wanted to say, that we have to find, first of all, product will be 6 minus -6, sorry, and sum has to be -5. So we have to find such two numbers. So just remember that you have to multiply the third coefficient by our first quadratic term coefficient. And so in this case we will get product has to be -6, and the sum has to be -5, and we have to find these two numbers. And if we can find exactly one combination, then we can factor it out. In this case it will be in this case it will be -6 and +1. And right now we have to split our middle term in two parts. So basically it will be 2x squared, and we have to use, in our splitted term, we have to use these numbers that we just found, and this will be minus negative 6x plus x, and we have to add minus negative 3. And now we can find common factors. We have to split actually this into two parts, and we will find common factor for these two terms. This will be 2x, and 2x is a common factor for just x minus 3. This is how we factored 2x from this side, and here we can see that common factor for these two terms is just 1. So we will just write plus 1 is a common factor of x minus 3 equals to 0. As I said in the beginning, if one of these parts become 0, then the whole this part, just imagine if we get x plus 3, then this parenthesis will be 0 inside, and we multiply by 1 and get just 0, and only this left. The same happens here. If we get here 0, we got it just 0. Because of that, we can easily say if we will find plus 3 in these two, so the whole equation will be just 0. Right? In this form it's very obvious, we can very obviously see that. So we can just write it as a x minus 3 equals to 0, and it means x equals to 3, right? But we can also find next the second solution of this equation. If we can just factor these parentheses out to the both of these parts, we will find, and we can make a our equation in the form of x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. Why we can do that? Because it's another form of the same equation. If we just factor out the same x minus 3 within parentheses. And here it's actually more clear. It is much more clear about statement that we found before about x equals to 3. And also it is clear right now, if this part also is 0 within, it means our equation is also 0. So we can find our second solution, 2x plus 1 equals to 0, which means 2x equals minus 1, or x equals minus 1 divided by 2. So that's our solutions. Alright, let's solve the last example. And the last example is 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 equals 0. So, as we learned before, first of all we have to find product of the number the quadratic term multiplied by our free term at the end, and in this case it will be minus 24 is the product of these two, and here the middle term stays the same. So we have to find two numbers which will give us minus 24 if we multiply them, and give us 10 if we summarize them, if we sum there. Okay, and what these numbers will be is, in this case it will be just 12 minus 2, and we can check quickly. Yes, we will get the sum of 10 with these numbers, and we will get minus 24 as a product of these numbers. And what we will do next, now we have to split our middle term into 2. First will be this number plus 12x, and plus 12x minus 2x minus 8. It's just exactly as our original equation that was given, just middle term was split it into two parts. And now we do as usually, we have to find common factor on our left and right side. And what we can see here is the common factor is 3x which will give us, in the parentheses we get x plus 4. And here we got common factor is just minus 2. Minus 2 is the common factor. And in parentheses we have x and plus 4. It should be the same as mentioned, as written in the left side. If it is the same, it means we are doing right. Alright, and as already told before, first solution is very easy to find. It will be x minus 4, because if you get 0 here, the whole equation will be 0. And for the second, as I already told you before in the previous example, if we rewrite it in the form of common factor x plus 4, then we will get another simple equation, 3x minus 2, and if we simplify, we get x equals to 2 divided by 3. Yeah, so here we can see our two solutions. I hope it was understandable. Sorry for my accent and the long explanation. It was my first lesson that I tried to conduct on my own. I really feel difference, although the topic is not much difficult, but to be able to conduct the lesson and explain things, makes it a little bit more difficult, but I I feel myself happy I did that. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll continue in the next lesson.